Well, now it's time for the Liam Neeson style of walkaround, and the reason I say that is because, as usual, with most press cars that I get on rotation, there's no time. So when there's no time, you got to put it together the best you can. I got my notes here. I'm going to go through it the best I can. I'm going to take you through everything you need to know about the 2015 Jaguar. And some people say Jaguar, but I kind of prefer Jaguar. Listen, it's a Jag, okay? I mean, that's basically what you need to know here. So let's just take you through the bits and pieces that you need to know when it comes to the Jaguar F-Type. And let's start with some lights. Lights, camera, action. We'll take a look at the action that we've got going on here with these particular HID style of headlamps. Now, the beautiful thing about it is that this is standard equipment on the F-Type. So even if you start at $72,900, unlike some other vehicles where you got to start adding them on, you get these as standard equipment. That is definitely very sexy. I really like the way that they've gone with the, almost like the hockey blade style, because it is Canada, the hockey blade style of LED surrounds that occur here. Now, if we take a look up front, we head on down low as my knees fill with fluid, and we take a look at the beautiful Jaguar face staring back at us. It'd be really cool if it actually had the old school leader displacement like they did on cars like, say, an XK150. Now, there's the S badging up front too. Now, as we move along, now let's take a look at the hood here, because these are definitely functional heat extractors, so that is very cool. But the other thing that's also cool is when you head over into the engine bay is that when the hood is closed, you actually still see the supercharged labels on the plastic engine cover. Yes, it's come to that. Well, let's tell you about the mill. It is a 3-liter supercharged V6. Now, this being the S of the F-Type, what that means is that this particular one is 380 horsepower, 339 foot-pounds of torque, and it's all feeding through actually a better axle than stock. This has a 3.31 rear axle ratio, so that's important. Now, the other thing I wanted to also point out to you here, take a look at the bracing under the hood here. Take a look. You've actually got these front braces at the front of the strut tower here. You've even got the rear ones here. Now, the other thing you have, and you'll notice the wires sticking out of the dampers, so that means that we've got adaptive dampers. Yes, we like it when dampers are adapting to things that we want to do on the road. Now, this particular one does have, red calipers. And as we know, red calipers do really good stopping things. It's the color of stop signs and such. Take a look inside at these absolutely beautiful discs. They are massive, absolutely massive. This particular F-Type can haul itself down in a hurry. Now, heated exterior mirrors. We do have the repeaters on the side. That is definitely slick. Now, notice how the door handles deploy for you as required. So it definitely keeps the side of the F-Type looking absolutely stunning. Oh, looky, more red calipers in the back there. That's definitely sexy. Speaking of sexy, as we'll point out here, is that you can't get enough of taking a look at the silhouette. The silhouette of the Coupe, as far as I'm concerned, is the more attractive of the two cars, bar none. I don't care if you like roadsters. This is the one that you want to have, especially because if you take a look up front here, this is actually a panoramic roof. Now, it doesn't open. Goodness, can you imagine the architecture it would need if it could? Now, let's dip on down here and show you exactly what I'm talking about. That is what I call a view. Now, let's take a look at the door handles here. Now, the one thing that I would expect, and I'm getting on a Jaguar, is incredible cut and sewn upholstery throughout. Take a look at the contrast red stitching here on this particular F-Type S. Let's take a look at the seat controls, because the seat controls here, well, it's not just about moving you forward and backwards. It also has, if I can bring my thingy up to show you here, it has the ability to move the bolsters, the side bolsters here, and 3 memory positions. I don't understand exactly why they got 3 memory positions on the passenger side. So maybe that's got something to do with wife, girlfriend, mistress. Not necessarily in that order. Hey, live your life the way you want to live your life. Take a look at the rear tail lamps. Now we do have that LED style light pipe that definitely gets things kicked up in a hurry. Take a look at those twin trumpets. They sound absolutely wonderful. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can change that sound when we move on into the inside of this particular F-Type. Now, the one thing that I noticed as you take a walk around the car is that, unlike some cars, they tend to treat the underbody a little bit on the not so trimmed side. And when I say that some other cars in the class like to give you, well, that flat blackish type of protective coating down low. But let's get down low and let's show you that the paint wraps all the way around. Absolutely stunning, and definitely a good place to be putting some form of protective film for the long run. That's got to be, when I take a look at these sill plates here, that is one of the largest sill plates that I've ever seen when it comes to putting the name on the vehicle. That looks absolutely beautiful. Now, let's take a look back here in the boot, because that is what you call it. Check out my vintage camera bag. I hope you like it as much as I do. So, as you can see, we do have a cover to keep things away from pry bar eyes. So that is here, so that'll definitely help protect the belongings. You've got your license plate lamps up top here. You have a really nice handle that can do handily things to bring this hatch down. And actually it does have an automatic closure mechanism there, so it sucks it right down. Now let's take a look inside. I took out the panel that covers this lower cavity, so we got plenty of room for the detailing. And boy, have I been doing a lot of detailing this week with a beautiful black car like this. Your battery, it's in the back. And you notice that bottle there? Well, that is your tire goo when it comes to the inflation, because there, hey, there's the inflation kit right over there, filling up the washer fluid. That's important to have lots of washer fluid. You would think that this would actually be a very hard tunnel to see through, but the one thing that I have noticed in driving it, I'm just going to bring down our hatch here, and I'm going to do so in such a way that I can get this to suck down for you. There we go, sucks down very nice. What a beautiful looking leaper you are. Now, the other thing you should know about this is that this particular one here, there, now it's sucked down properly. This particular Jaguar F-Type, what we have is, much like other vehicles, once you get going at speed, this particular piece here actually does come up and helps to stabilize the car at high speeds, which you'll be doing plenty of if you live where there's actually some good roads. Should also point out here, a little hard to do when you're doing the one-man band edition, but you've got your top mount style of LED lamp. So it's just hidden right at the top of the glass here. So that is a beautiful interpretation of safety. See this little light here? See that little light looking back at us for our side view mirrors? Well, what we also have here is blind spot monitoring with the Vision Pack, which this particular car has. But what we also get with that is the ability to sense vehicles that are really torquing up fast. So fast approaching vehicles, it's going to sense that too. Now let's take a look in on the inside. These are incredible seats, and as you can see, there's certainly the provisions, if you have the means, to put in additional harnesses if you're going to be doing some racing. But when it comes to seats like this that have that type of harness setup, usually they're anything but easy to get in and out of. But because we have the abilities with the adjustable side bolsters, these are seats you can live with every single day of the week. Now, let's see if I can head on into the glove box here. Pop that open for you. And it holds glove box things. That's good. Now, the trimming here, we do have the piano black. Okay, well, as we've said with piano black, nothing beats piano black if you really want to be detailing the inside of your car constantly, so keep that in mind. Absolutely stunning leathers. You know, in fact, even shows you how to take care of the leathers with that handy little tag there. I really should look into that. Now, let's head in on inside a little bit. We do have the shifter for the ZF 8-speed automatic here, looking very much like something out of the bin when it comes to the Land Rover Camp. Still works very well. You also have paddle shifters on this particular S edition of the F-Type, and I will say this, when it comes to the transmission, I'm not the biggest fan of things that don't have 3 pedals, but at the same time, this is one of the crispest shifting automatic transmissions that you're going to come across for the class. You do have actually very good cup holders. Let me dip in to show you those cup holders. Now, the cup holders are actually using rubber style cinchers, a good depth, so unlike some other vehicles in the class, you actually can bring along your coffee. So I like to have a coffee every now and then. Let's see how my one-handed steadiness is doing today. Now notice that you do have the Holy Hannah handle here for the lucky passenger. Let's see, the console lid. Come on, console lid, you can open up for me. Thank you very much. And oh, what do we got now? Oh, my business card. Oh, look at that. You also have the CD dock is actually at the back of this setup. You don't have it up front with the screen. What you get is the CD dock actually inside the console, assuming that you're still one of those people who actually still use CDs. There's a USB inlet as well as auxiliary input, 12-volt DC, flock lined, very nicely done, and doesn't get in the way of doing things. And by things, I mean steering the wheel. Oh, let's take a look up top here. I've also got my detailing goo in this little cubby here. Not a heck of a lot of room in there, but take a look off to the side there. You see that bar sticking up? Well, if this was a Roadster, you'd have the actual roll bars, but that's a structural member. I gotta tell you, like take a look inside there as I whack the camera around with abandon. That's definitely doing something to protect you. That's definitely my thoughts and feelings. Oh, let me talk about sound. Now, you've got a couple of different options when it comes to sound. You've got the Meridian systems. Now, the standard one is 380 watts or 770 watts. If you need to know how many speakers are in there for that kind of power, you've got way too much time on your hands. Let's take a look again. When it comes to accessibility, oi, it's not going to be easy. What's crazy is that they're also putting a V8 into this somehow, some way. I don't know exactly how. I want to show you the wipers here. I love that they actually have the juice shooters, windshield wiper nozzles. The juice shooters are actually shooting the windshield wiper juice onto the windshield and doing so in such a way that it's really contacting the windshield as you're driving. So keep that in mind. Oh, and take a look also at the side markers on these HID headlamp assemblies. Now, I mean, it evokes a lot of the images of the original E-Type, but that LED, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about LEDs. You don't need to have that much space to put in a light that is going to command and it's going to punctuate itself and make sure that everybody sees it. And, well, it's a stunning jeweled little piece there. I really like the look of that. Now let's head on into the driver's seat for a moment before we actually take this puppy out for a drive and show you that what we have here, as I steady mount this job here, we have a steering wheel. 3-spoke steering wheel, has the power type of articulation to get it exactly where you need. Gauges, simplistic, easy to read, do everything they are supposed to do. Push button start, as we had mentioned. And you notice that you also have the electric style parking brake. You also have that dreaded eco button. I have kept that thing off for the duration of this test. Dual climate control, and those knobs there actually also get you access to the heated seats. So that's how you're going to be doing it there. Now, get in a little bit closer, and you'll notice the dynamic switch. Always keep this beautiful car in dynamic mode. You are going to love it that way. That's when you get the best types of crackles out of the back of the tailpipe, as well as the best abilities with the adaptive dampers. And it's not just adaptive dampers, it's mapping everything. It's mapping the transmission, it's mapping the engine, it's mapping all the stuff that well, I guess you like the map. So let's take a look up top here. We do have a shark fin style of antenna. Works well with this design. And oh, I'm just gonna follow this line. Look at this line. This is absolutely gorgeous. This is the line. This is the line that you would expect to see on the likes of the E-Type. And I think when it comes to what's really speaking to me right now out of the Jaguar camp, it has to be the F-Type. And well, I wouldn't want to miss out the fact that we do have some all-weather style of mats available for you. And take a look down low here with the exhaust pipes. Notice that you've got your reverse lamps down low, following the curve of the diffuser. And the diffuser, it's not finished in flat black, it's actually finished in color. Because let's face it, if you're going to be spending upwards of 85,000 to get yourself into this particular vehicle, well, yeah, you want as much color as you could possibly get on this thing. As for storage space behind the rear seats, yeah, no. There ain't nothing going on here for storage. But what is going on here is one of the cars that I have to admit, for the money, I mean, even if you get into this at the base level, this particular F-Type, it just commands attention. And yes, you could get into cars that on paper are going to give you more performance, but I hate to say it, but cars like Porsches, especially in this kind of price, you're pretty much looking at something like a Cayman. It's starting to kind of blend into the background. And if you're going to be spending this kind of cake, why, even at 72.9, would you ever want to blend into the background? So far, so good. And now, I think it's time we take it for a ride.